Like many returning servicemen in 1946, Julius was anxious to begin a new life. He completed his residency at Children's Mercy Hospital, met Marjorie Rosenblum on a blind date, and several months afterwards, they were married at Oakwood Country Club on September 10th. Here are pictures of the prenuptial and the wedding.
כל מצהלות חתנים מחופתם ונערים עם משתה נגינתם.
Dr. Julius Kantor started a private practice in the latter part of 1946. Early on, he got an important boost when another pediatrician no longer wanted to make house calls in the northeast section of Kansas City. Julius stepped in, the word quickly got around the Italian community, and this became his base for his budding medical practice. These were the days before institutional medicine. Julius continued to make house calls, see patients in the hospital, sometimes meet them in the emergency room, and answer his phone throughout the night.
First few years of pediatrics, polio was a devastating disease. Some months were terrible. We were having epidemics of polio every summer.
I remember that. Closed the swimming pools.
I remember in summertime if a person stubbed their toe and had pain somewhere that they could be complaining, say, come see me, I think I'm coming down with polio. Everything was polio.
On a typical day, he would be up around 6:30 a.m. He would be off to Menorah Hospital by 8, make the rounds as well as perform administrative work. He'd be in his office around 9:30 or 10, come back home for a quick sandwich, and then be back in his office with patients until 6:30 p.m. or so. After dinner, he would check in with his answering service, phone the patients, possibly make a house call or two, and by 10 p.m. watch the news on TV, then call the answering service and phone patients again, go to sleep, and then get woken up a few times during the night with emergency calls. On Thursday, his day off, he would conduct a clinic at Mercy Hospital in the morning and, weather permitting, play golf in the afternoon, and then take Marjorie out to dinner in the evening. On Sundays, he would alternate being on call with partners Marvin Bordy and Kurt Metzel. When he wasn't on call, he would play golf in the morning, watch TV sports in the afternoon, and then take the entire family out to dinner. Family and extended family would often come over to the house with their sick or injured kids. If Uncle Jules couldn't take care of him or her there, he would escort them to Menorah Hospital and make sure they got immediate attention there. He was always unflappable, businesslike but concerned around often hysterical patients and parents while drilling down from a mental checklist to come up with the correct diagnosis. We'll run down his resume and accomplishments at the end of this film. Jules became a father in January of 1948 with the birth of Jim. I followed in 1949 and Betsy in 1956. However, this documentary is not about us, so we'll move on. Jules' immediate family in Kansas City grew to include his in-laws. Despite the wealth of anecdotal material about Ira Rosenblum, Jules pretty much flew steady under his radar, and there was a lot of mutual respect. Marjorie, of course, was always front and center in the relationship with Mel and Sevy Krigel, but Jules could sometimes get a word in or two on the golf course. Golf replaced tennis as Jules' favorite pastime. He had a stiff swing, but few realized that Jules is actually left-handed. Back in Wyoming, kids were not allowed to grow up as lefties, so he trained to write, play sports, and do everything right-handed. However, when Willie Comisano gave him lessons on how to collect from deadbeat shopping center tenants, you instinctively handle the gun with your natural hand. This is the orange golf ball that he once tried to play with in the snow. And here is Jules in front of his locker at Oakwood Country Club. In actuality, this is a Bogey Bums prank back in 1969. Jules and Margie's circle of friends were known as the Bogey Bums. There were many partners in crime, but the ringleaders always seemed to be Eloise Minkoff and Ralph Czar, with logistical support from Marjorie and others. What made this group special and unique was their humor and self-effacement that straddled but never stepped over the line. The Bogey membership has been diminishing, but they remain steadfast in loyalty and friendship, and this has helped Julius handle retirement and the tough times far better than anyone I have ever known.